These are the supplies you'll need. An archival ink felt tip pen, size 0.8 or 1, such as a Sakura Pigmamicron pen. You could also use a technical pen like a Rotring Isograph if you happen to have one. Plain paper for practicing. You can use printer paper, notebook paper, whatever you have around the house. Bristol board paper, which is a dense, smooth, thick paper for a more polished finish. For example, for doodles you want to frame. I recommend getting an A4 sized pad like this one. I chose these materials because I wanted the finished piece to have a strong contrast between ink and paper, a clean, crisp, consistent line with neat beginnings and endings. An archival ink felt tip pen has a hard felt tip and makes a very black line that won't fade over time. It comes with the ink already inside, and you can use it until the tip wears down or the ink runs out and then dispose of it. These pens are easy to use and relatively inexpensive. If you're just starting out, I recommend getting this type of pen. A technical pen has a metal shaft. You need to fill it with ink, either from a bottle or replace a cartridge. One technical pen costs as much as 5 to 10 felt tip pens, not including the ink. It requires some getting used to because you have to write with it perpendicular to the paper, and the metal tip may not feel as smooth on the paper as a felt tip pen. It also requires maintenance, such as refilling ink and washing it out every once in a while. If you doodle as much as I do, it may be a more cost-effective choice in the long run. I would recommend getting one only after you find yourself wearing down and throwing away quite a few felt tip pens. Other writing tools will work for doodling, but they won't give you the same result. Here's why. A gel pen, like the Sakura Jelly Roll, is fun to doodle with, but since it's a ballpoint pen, its beginnings and endings might not look as neat, and the black gel might not be as black as India ink. The line might not be as consistent. The gel doesn't always look neat if you go over the same spot again. A gel pen that's intended for writing is not the same. It creates a much finer line. An alcohol-based marker like a Sharpie creates a strong contrast and looks almost as good as the pens I recommended, but you lose a bit of control over the line. Also, most significantly, alcohol markers sometimes have an unpleasant odor. A regular ballpoint pen used for writing is not an ideal doodling tool because the color contrast is weak and it's hard to create a nice block of color, and the line is fine and not very consistent. A pencil does not create the contrast I'm looking for, and it might smear, and it does not create a crisp line, and it's harder to fill in a block of color. If you don't mind not getting the exact same look that I'm going for in this class, that's totally fine. I doodle with other tools to get a wider range of results. I encourage you to experiment with all sorts of pens and markers. It all depends on how you want the finished piece to look. In the next lesson, we'll practice making a few simple line patterns.